Info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
And knocked down again. That was Christian Miller.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with four-time SEC champion and two-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking him down.
Here's college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
And welcome into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope you guys are doing well and ready for the weekend. I know that I am, Chase. I'm sure you are too. We got plenty to dive into today as we help you guys roll on into the weekend. We're less than a week away from training camp. There's plenty to be excited about, and that's what we're looking forward to. And we got a little bit of gossip to talk about today here on the show, Chase. Big Ten Media Days has been going on, and somehow, one way or another, man, there's some headlines that have been coming out that we got to talk about down here in SEC country. There's been some shots that have been taken, so we got to address them, which we always like to do here on the show. Love to get y'all's thoughts and everything we're talking about. Plus, if you have anything else that you want to bring up into the conversation, 205-342-9904 is the phone number if you guys want to call in. If you guys would prefer to just leave some messages, you can always download that Tide 100.9 app. You can drop your app messages right there. We can check them out, talk about them, discuss them. And, of course, we always invite you guys to hang out with us on our streams, whether that's on YouTube at The Miller's Edge, on X at The Miller's Edge, at Christian Mill R, or on the Tide 100.9 Facebook page where we stream live video, right, every single day that we do the show, plus more uploads over on YouTube, including breakdowns for all you folks that like the football breakdowns, which we got plenty more coming your way as we quickly approach football season. That being said, Chase, we got some disrespect to address. I feel like we've been doing this a whole bunch recently. This time around, it wasn't necessarily just Alabama. These shots were taken at the whole conference, and we're going to have to discuss this and address it. We'll do that here in a moment, but there's been another few little things that have popped up on my feed. Of course, every morning we got the X scroll, and we see what's the latest and the greatest, and we got to talk about it. So it wasn't just that, Chase, but a couple other headlines I definitely want to discuss. I think college football has their official theme that they're coming up with. Maybe we can I don't think we can play that on the stream, man. We might run into some issues there. So maybe we'll have to, I don't know, figure something out there. But I kind of want to check it out, see kind of what the vibe is going to be for football season. I just got a phone call speaking about football season from some folks over at the network. And sounds like we're upgrading some of the tech, man. So I'm looking forward to that, which just made me think about the post-game and pre-game stuff that I'll be doing this upcoming year. And I'm excited about that. So just a quick reminder, of course, we talk about all things Alabama football and SEC college football here on the show Monday through Friday. But if you guys want some more specific breakdown based off of the games that will be played this season, specifically for Alabama, you can always hear me on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, co-host the post-game show immediately following every single Alabama football game this upcoming season, as well as some pregame segments that I do with Roger Hoover and company as well, depending on the time that the games are. So there's no set time, but hour or two before kickoff, roughly 45 minutes to an hour after the conclusion of each game, you can check me out on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Chase, I know this is random. We're going to dive into some of this disrespect that's coming out of Big Ten country, but have you heard or seen the news or even the video clips of what went down with Tony Romo not long ago? Did you by chance catch any of that?
Man, I'm going to tell you, social media works quick. I can't even go through my TikTok feed, Christian, and I see edits of Tony Romo doing the two-step outside of the police car, and then his highlights come up. So I'm very much aware of what went down. It is unfortunate. You can dive more into it, but, yeah, it's crazy how life comes at you.
I should have brought this up yesterday when we had our wonderful lawyer on the show, Mr. Adam Lamparello of Lamparello Law. Make sure you guys check them out for all your representation needs, whether that's academic misconduct, any criminal defense matter, NIL. Lamparello Law has you covered. Not only will they represent you in a first-class manner, but also at a very affordable rate, which Adam said, hey, he's going to hook up the Alabama fans that need some representation. So make sure you guys check them out, lamparello-law.com. And for any high school, college, or graduate students, or if you have any yourself, you can always seek their services for exam and test taking preparation, subject matter mastery, academic and career planning as well. Make sure you guys check out Lamparello Law. Again, that's lamparello-law.com, the official representation here on the Miller's Edge. Totally missed a great opportunity to ask his opinion on this, Chase, because you mentioned the video. There's like police body cam footage that has been released with the whole Tony Romo situation. He was coming from a golf tournament. I guess he got stopped in illegal, not passing, but something about, I think, like the solid white lines. Cop pulls him over. And immediately, once he mentions that he's coming from the golf course, and maybe just kind of based off of, I didn't think he appeared to be intoxicated, but he sounded kind of, I don't know, he was definitely, I don't know how to explain it. Like, not like in a good mood necessarily, but the way he was talking was a little, I mean, he might have given some signs, but not many. Anyway, they end up asking him to step out of the car. They needed to do some sobriety tests. If you guys haven't seen it, maybe we'll throw up the video on the live stream at some point during the break. Long story short, Chase, to your point, people, man, they don't take anything serious. Okay, first of all, driving while intoxicated, driving under the influence in different states have different names, is a very serious matter. And of course, always call an Uber, always call a Lyft, call a friend, never get behind the wheel if you're ever in that situation. I've lost a friend, to one of those situations. I mean, it's very serious. But in this regard, Chase, people had AI edits, like you said. They had them doing the Dak Prescott. I get like the pregame warm up, like where you're like, the hip rotation thing that Dak does. I mean, they had all type of videos that were edits that went into his highlights. But the reason I brought this up today is that it's been announced that CBS will place him on indefinite leave, and J.J. Watt will be his replacement for the time being. And we're right around the corner from football season. The NFL is going to be here before you know it. Thursday, my former team, the Panthers, they'll play the Cardinals in the first preseason game in the Hall of Fame game next week. So, I mean, we're right around the corner. Unfortunate for Tony Romo, because I'll be honest with you, I like Romo as a commentator. I like him a lot, our color analyst. I think he does a phenomenal job. Some people don't really feel his style. They feel like he kind of gives too much away before the play. I mean, he's pretty much calling out what's going to happen. I love the football IQ that he presents. But anyway, sounds like he's going to be on the bench for a little bit, and J.J. Watt is going to take his spot until I guess they figure some other stuff out. But I wish we would have asked Adam yesterday kind of what the whole deal is or what the consensus is, because I've seen a lot of people, and again, I'm not a lawyer, but I've seen a lot of internet lawyers, it seems like, chiming in on the situation, Chase. And it seems like there's a strong belief that maybe the protocol in which the police went about the whole investigation, the sobriety test, all that good stuff, maybe they didn't do things 100% the right way. Could potentially be a situation where he's able to kind of get off from this. I don't know. Again, very serious nature if you're driving under the influence, but who knows? But I felt bad for him. And like, did you see him talking about his back? Like, I don't know if he was making excuses, but the dude, I mean, he's had back surgeries. The dude was crammed in the back of that car, but it's just a very, very interesting situation. But I saw those updates and I was like, dang, man, I hate that. But if he was in fact doing that, you got to live with the consequences, and hopefully he learns from it. And I guess he'll probably be back in the booth at some point, hopefully, because I enjoy listening to him. But I think J.J. Watt does a good job. Greg Olsen I like a lot, too. I don't know if you guys have listened to Greg, my former teammate with the Panthers, but he does a phenomenal job as well. What did you think about Brady doing it, Chase? I feel like I was kind of split on it. I'll be honest, I don't think I was too sold on Brady in the booth. What did you think? Some people really liked him. I feel like it was a little – I don't think it was as good as Greg, in my opinion, or even Romo. But that's just me. What do you think, Chase?
I think Brady was okay. There were kind of parts throughout the game I would kind of scratch my head, and I'm like, he really just said that? Or, he'd cut off Kevin Burkhalter, as his name. I just feel like the chemistry took some time for them to build. But, yeah, no one's beating Greg Olsen and Tony Romo. I'm big fans of theirs. They know the game. They're very much astute on the X's and O's of the game, and it gives me more insight of what I might not see. So if like a ref throws a flag, and I'm just like, oh, that's nothing, or that's a ref's fault. But when they break it down and look at the film or the replay, Greg gives a very, very good explanation, or Tony as well. And like you said, I like when Tony can predetermine what's going to happen to play. It's like a superpower. I don't know why people have a problem when he does that, because it's very rare that a former player can do that, because the game is changing every single day. And for him to know the personnel, who he's going to go to, who's running across the field, and even can tell why they did it, I think it's such a cool aspect to have. But it is very unfortunate. I've lost somebody to drunk driving, but it's the world we live in, Christian, and things can change at the top of a hat.
Yeah, no, I really can. Again, serious matter, but I also know there is a legal process. So, it's important that the police go about it the right way, or else he might have a way of kind of getting out of it, which I think somebody was going over it, because I think he was in, can't remember where exactly he was at, but they said basically the way it works, wherever he was at, was the first offense is basically just a few $100 fine. So I don't know if there'd be too much to really try to, I guess, battle that with that legally. I don't know, but we'll have to see. But I'm with you, though. I do like Greg and Romo when they are in the booth doing the color commentary. They do a phenomenal job. We got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we'll keep rolling. We'll talk about kind of some of the disrespect that's been going on in Big Ten country, talking about the SEC, and we'll play a clip from head coach Curt Cignetti, who he had an interesting quote yesterday at his press conference, and we got to talk about it. We'll listen to it. We'll talk about it. Get y'all's thoughts on it. All that coming up right here on this Free for All Friday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9. 1230 WTBC.
$2,500 in cash. This July, let freedom and fortune ring at Pearl River Resorts. Must be 21 or older to play.
Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393-9.
US Mobile. Just go to US Mobile subreddit. Just search for US Mobile and make a decision for yourself. If you're ready, visit usmobile.com.
Consumer Reports does not endorse products or services.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Going to be looking at maybe some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, mostly sunny skies, low 90s, heat index around 105. Tonight, scattered showers and storms. Overnight, low falls back to 73 degrees. Saturday, those showers become likely as we hit the afternoon, and we are going to be looking at the rumbles of thunder, partly sunny, back up towards 90 for the high. Saturday night, we will see those showers and thunderstorms, and then back to mostly sunny skies Sunday. This is Jeff Eno from the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 89 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Hey, y'all. This is Alabama offensive lineman William Sanders, and you're listening to Tide 100.9, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Chase, feels like we've been addressing disrespect pretty much all week, last week, whatever it was. So let's go ahead and continue doing that. This time we're going to head on up to Big Ten country because, they're doing their pressers, they're talking, they're being asked plenty of questions, they're giving plenty of answers. But one really stuck out, Chase, and it was from head coach Curt Cignetti, who we know led his team to an undefeated season last year. At Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, ran the table, won a national championship. They're on cloud nine right now. I mean, and rightfully so, right? I mean, are they the first team to run the table like that? No, I mean, LSU did that in 2019. Technically, Alabama did it in 2020 during the COVID year, all conference schedule. But to do it at a place like Indiana, a place that was viewed as the worst college football program of all time in the history of the sport. He's been there, 2 years in his second year. First year made the playoffs, second year they go back and they win it all. So I understand there's going to be a high level of confidence. I understand everybody's going to be talking about them in a very high regard, and for the most part, rightfully so. But I find, Chase, there's a little bit of a line, right, where you should be confident, but then there's some things where it's just like, all right, you're doing a little too much. And personally, I feel like we kind of hit that point with head coach Curt Cignetti, who I respect a whole bunch. I like him a lot as a football coach. I like the way his teams play football. I like the way he runs his ship, right? I mean, like he's a serious guy. You can tell he's tough, but he's also, pretty calculated. We've heard about their practices being a little bit shorter, lighter. So, like, he's got a good combination, I feel like, of being tough, hard on his guys, but also being smart about it. And typically when I hear him speak, I respect it. He's always been a very confident person, right? Even before he played Alabama. He made the comment about, he told his team, it's just Alabama or whatever the comments were. So, this guy this is not new, but he made a comment regarding the Big Ten and the SEC. And this is what he had to say. So I want to listen to it and talk about it.
The Big Ten is the best league in football. And a lot of really good football teams. It's hard to win on the road. Very physical football teams, very well coached. It definitely prepares you for the playoffs. There's no doubt about it. The numbers speak for themselves. We don't run a hype machine up here in the Midwest. We believe everything's earned, not given. And when we fall short, we say we fell short. We don't cry a river, whine, and complain. All right? And that's why we're the best.
Very strong statement there, Chase. Very strong statement. And he kind of clearly felt he had a mic drop moment. Just look at his face right there. A little bit of a smackable face after making comments like that, if you ask me. But here's the thing, Chase. We've been having this discussion, at least us over here on the Miller's Edge. I feel like we've been giving a lot of credit to the Big Ten. Recently, we've been talking very highly of how they're deeper than they've been, right? We've been discussing that. Oh, look, did we have we had a race swap here? Hold on, man. I'm like, y'all can't do this to me, man. I'm over here addressing Chase, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, did Chase just go Michael Jackson on me? Like while I was speaking, why you got a haircut a little bit? So you look a little bit different. I wouldn't say you look African American, but why? What's up, man? When did y'all do this swap? Would y'all just jump in a quick little clone machine or something?
Look, man, second half of the national championship right here.
Making a little quarterback change. All right, we got Y behind.
I'm even left-handed too, so it worked out.
All right, so you're two in this situation. I respect it. Hey, I'll ask you this in our chat, of course, but with Cignetti's statement just right there, number one, the first half of it, I wasn't mad about. You're going to prop up your conference, right? That's what you're supposed to do. The SEC does it every year. Of course, you got like internal beef or tension, of course, within the conference, but you're still going to hype the conference up, right? You got to. So he was fine with that part, saying, the games are physical, this, that, and third, even though like some people might disagree that their schedules definitely are a little bit more cupcake-like. But I will say, I feel like there are teams in that conference that are respectable teams, even like a team like Iowa, right? They had a Joe Moore award-winning offensive line. We know they're known for hard-nosed, old-school defense. You know what I mean? Like, not like a very hot team when you think about them, but they're respectable, right? I'm sure to me they remind me of a I don't know, like a Mississippi State type of team where it's going to be a tough game. They're not great. They're probably a little bit better than State, or I don't know about moving forward like Kamario Taylor, but you get what I'm saying. Like in terms of in the conference, a team that's not going to get a whole bunch of recognition, but they got some dudes that are going to be physical, big bodies. At least like when I was playing, that's how Mississippi State was. They might not have had like the most star power, but they had some big boys. They're going to be physical. You're going to have to earn that one. Even Arkansas, sorry, I almost hit my mic for a second. Arkansas was one of those teams when we were playing. So they remind me of one of those kind of football teams. Anyway, I respect the Big Ten and their growth of course, we already know they've won the last 3 national championships. Like, there's no denying that. But in terms of the depth of the conference, the quality of the teams, it also has improved. I give them credit for that. But where he lost me, Wyatt, was where he completely starts going into, we don't have a hype machine up here. Everything is earned, not given. We don't cry a river when things don't go our way. That was, to me, that was way too much. Like, to me, I felt it was unnecessary. Does the SEC seem like, I wouldn't say like cry about not getting their way. Like, I feel like Greg Sankey's very outspoken. I feel like our coaches, speak up when they want certain things. But I think there's also a reason to that. I don't think they're doing that just to whine and complain. I think they're doing that because when you actually experience what it's like to be in the SEC and what it's like to play an SEC schedule, it's one thing to like hear about it or just view it on the outside looking in. But until you actually experience it, I don't think you're going to understand the complexity to it or the that comes with playing team after team like that. I'm not from a coaching standpoint, but from a player standpoint, I can tell you firsthand, right? Like, and we also were playing, like we would open up with Southern Cal, who was a respectable team. I know they're in the Pac-12, but historically a respectable program. Same thing with Florida State. I mean, they ended up being trash for years after we whooped them in Atlanta. But when we scheduled them, they were a good team. So we weren't running from that smoke. And then we're going through the gauntlet of the SEC. And to me, I don't know, man. He's got an acquired experience in the SEC. So I'm kind of shocked that he's talking like this, honestly. Why? But on the other hand, I'm not really, because hearing some of the things that he said, like being in front of a microphone, that's kind of the person he is. Like he's not afraid to take jabs like that. But he's definitely got some reasons to be confident right now. But I just hope he's willing to back that up, because I mean, I expect them to be decent. I don't know how good. I don't think they'll be as good as last year, but I think they'll be a playoff contender more than likely. And he also mentioned, hey, they got a bigger target on their back. That just means he brought a bigger gun. He must have been practicing in the mirror for all these quotes. He almost seems like he's trying so hard to like they say like, hey man, I want to edit. He reminds me of that guy. Like, he's like, oh man, I want them to make an edit, or I want them to write an article on this. I want to sound tough. I don't know. That's just the vibe I'm getting, but hopefully he can back it up, because best believe, I mean, they will have a target on their back. And if they don't look right, people are they're going to bring up these quotes. I mean, the way you were talking a big game, man. So hopefully you can follow that up in 2026, but I'll get y'all's thoughts. We'll get Wyatt's thoughts, everybody listening's thoughts when we come back. After this quick timeout, what do you guys think about Curt Cignetti and his thoughts? And I forgot to mention, he clearly said they are the best. He emphasized that. Take it for what it is. We'll talk about that when we come back right here on this Free For All Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393-9149 for your free estimate today. That's 205-393-9149. Asphalt Restoration, where smooth roads start. Roll Tide.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more
US Mobile, just go to US Mobile subreddit. Just search for US Mobile and make a decision for yourself. If you're ready, visit usmobile.com.
Consumer Reports does not endorse products or services.
Roll Tide, the best sports talk, period. Your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge. Todd 100.9, 1230, WTBC. I see QD at a point. He said, hey, listen, man, talk your stuff, Coach Sig. He beat down the flagship school of the SEC, which is Alabama, 38-3. If folks are going to complain about what he said, then you just got to beat him to shut him up. And to an extent, that is true, right? I mean, get your bragging rights back. I do believe in that. But I was making the comparison why before we came back. It's almost as if, Georgia, they were kind of at the top of the mountain in college football when they were going back-to-back, 21 and 22. And I have no problem saying that. They were the standard of college football during that period. They won 2 national championships 2 years in a row, but that still didn't necessarily put them at the same level as a program like Alabama, who just won it in 2020, right? We also have won 6, 7 national throughout the last 2 decades. So it's like, to me, it's just a little too soon, right? And I feel like that's kind of similar here with Coach Signetti, even the Big Ten. I mean, 3 years in a row to present a national champion. Don't get me wrong, that is impressive. And clearly the conference is doing something right. But I have to agree with Coach Saban, what he said at SEC Media Days, I believe it was. If you're going to talk about who's the best conference, I don't think it should be determined by what conference presents the national champion. I think it should be presented by the depth of the conference, right? Like, which conference truly has the better football teams? Like, I put some credit into having the national championship winner, but that would be like saying the ACC was the best conference because Clemson had won a couple national championships in the span of 4 years. They beat Alabama. The rest of the ACC was trash. I mean, we wouldn't make the argument that the ACC is the best conference because they had Clemson.
But the ACC also was not consistently putting multiple teams in the national championship game. It was Clemson or bust.
Fair. That's a good point. So it is a little bit different there. You're right, because you did have Ohio State, you had Michigan win one, and now Indiana. So that is a fair point. That is a good point. So maybe a little bit of apples to oranges there, but I think there's a little something to it. But you're right. What do you make of Curt Signetti, Wyatt? What he had to say? I mean, he said a lot, but in terms of, we're not crybabies. We have, we earn it. It's a physical schedule. I mean, I'm looking at the screen, Wyatt. It says the 4 tough games. You got Ohio State, give them that. At Michigan.
Big House is tough.
Mean, yeah, it's tough, but I would compare that to maybe like an LSU or like a Ole Miss type of deal. Like, definitely a good program, but it's not like on Ohio. They're not on Ohio State's level.
No.
You know what I mean? Southern Cal, same kind of deal. Southern Cal would be similar to really like our Vanderbilt right now. I'm saying like Vanderbilt's a top 25 team. Southern Cal, I'm saying they're a little bit on the latter end of the top 25. You get what I mean by that? Like they're not like they recruit much better than Vanderbilt.
Right now, yeah. Historically, I mean, USC is one of the blue bloods.
Oh, yeah, no.
But yeah, right now.
But I'm saying like this is for this upcoming season. And I'm just saying realistically, Ohio State would be like somebody having Georgia on their schedule. Michigan and Southern Cal to me would be like, though you could throw in Ole Miss, you could throw Texas A&M.
That's like LSU Ole Miss.
Right. And I'll be honest, I think Southern Cal is almost maybe even potentially a step below that personally. If I'm just being honest with you, I mean, Ole Miss, I think
maybe Tennessee.
Maybe. I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, Lincoln Riley's literally on the hot seat. So, like, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, okay, and then Purdue. So, I mean, I'm not really feeling what he's talking about as if it's like this tough gauntlet to get there like it is in the SEC. It's just not. I'll let you answer your thoughts real quick. I'm going to pull up what is it? The FPI is what shows strength of schedule.
Football Power Index, yeah.
I want to pull that up real quick while you give us your answer, because I remember the SEC was like loaded in terms of their schedules, like the strength of their schedules. I want to see where the Big Ten teams line up on that. But what do you make of Curt Signetti? Is he bitter? You think he's got some substance to what he's saying? What do you make of it?
I mean, the guy's clearly got a hard on for Alabama in the SEC. Like come up for air, dude. Please, for the love of God, come up for air on this stuff. But I mean, reigning national champion. We can't really say anything because he beat the tar out of Alabama, beat the tar out of Oregon, and then was in the process of working on the Miami team that Carson Beck, threw up a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit to lose that game. And so, I mean, as much as I want to disagree, I disagree with the idea that the Big Ten is the best conference because it's not as deep as the SEC. I say this all the time. Purdue and Arkansas, right? Similar records last season. Both were bottom feeders of their conference. Arkansas was top 25 in talent composite. Purdue was outside the top 50. Arkansas played in so many one-score games that if one play changes, Arkansas probably wins. And so if you simply just reverse the one-score games for Arkansas last year, they're a 9-3 football team instead of 2-10. Whereas Purdue, if you flip their one-score games, they go 3-9 instead of 2-10 last season, right? So as much as I want to discredit what he's saying, but they won the national championship. I can't really go out and discredit that because they're the ones with the hardware. So I mean, all the SEC can do is, hey Georgia, hey Texas, hey whoever you think is the best team in the conference, go get our lick back, please, because right now we're eating out of the palm of the Big Ten's hand right now.
Yeah, and I want to be clear. I mean, because every time we had this conversation, I'm the first to give them all the respect. Like, I'm not one of these people that just say, oh, SEC clears them. No, like I've said, I almost feel like the Big Ten is, I think right now they're probably about as even as it's ever been, personally, right? The SEC is still deeper, while the Big Ten, like you just mentioned, is producing national championship teams. And they're like, that was a great point that you made. It's not like it's just one team doing it. We're seeing other teams emerge and step up and do it. That is impressive in their own right. I pulled up the FPI while you were talking, Wyatt, and a lot of really good stuff on, like you mentioned, like Arkansas. You probably could make a similar case with Florida, right? I don't know. I mean, it sounds like you did your research. I didn't look any numbers up, but I would imagine Florida's one of those teams, right? Maybe even Auburn. Like, I feel like
Florida was inside the top 15 in talent composite.
Yeah. Well, and I wouldn't be shocked if you go back and look at some of those other games from some of those teams that are 500 teams in the SEC. We're talking about one-score games where they go from 5-7 to 9-3, right? Just by a couple plays here and there. Like, that's not an excuse. Those are just facts. Now, again, I don't watch Big Ten as much. I watch the big games. I can't sit here and act like I watch Iowa, Purdue, and all these constantly to tell you off the top of my head the margin of, the score margin and some of those wins or losses. But based off of this FPI, at least for 2026,
you should watch Iowa. Like, their defense, special teams, and they got seven. Yeah. Iowa's a legit football team.
Yeah, no, I respect that. I watch my Iowa. I just mean, like, not as when I'm like on Saturdays, I try to watch as much SEC as possible because, right, a lot of these games are going to be clashing, right? Man, Pac-12 used to be at a totally different time. But Big Ten, SEC, a lot of these games are going to be clashing. If I have to choose between the two, I'm typically tuned into SEC because I want to see teams that we probably will end up facing down the road so I can go ahead and early scout. You know what I mean? Just get an idea. But according to FPI, Big Ten, if you go off of, I didn't count how many teams it says, I would, if I had to guesstimate, probably like 20, 22 teams. They've got about 6 in the top, whatever this is. Let me just count it real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it's at 20 on the dot. The SEC has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 compared to the Big Ten's 6 teams when it comes to the FPI. I know that's not like some like huge metric, but I think that's, something to consider, especially now that the SEC has moved to the 9 conference games, right? That's even more of a matter here. But at the end of the day, he does have the bragging rights, like you said. The Big Ten has bragging rights. The SEC's got to go back and reclaim that. Can they do that this year at least? I don't know. I know we kind of put that question out there a few days ago, and it's a tough one. Why? Because I'll be honest with you, I don't know how confident I am that happens in 2026. I mean, Texas looks loaded. On paper, they clearly have probably the most talented or one of the most talented rosters in college football. Georgia, they've got a lot of guys from last season, some younger guys that are going to be stepping up, and I think they're going to be a tough football team. Of course, Kirby Smart, you always are confident in his ability to lead his team. They haven't had postseason success, but it seems like they're due for something, right? I mean, they got a quarterback that's experienced. I know people are always looking at the skill positions, or at least the wide receivers, and they're always questioning those guys. But I'm sure Kirby, is probably going to be making himself another run this year, at least getting to the postseason at least. But outside of those, I'm not saying other teams in the SEC can't make a run, right? Like LSU could make a run. Ole Miss could make a run. Oklahoma, I think, is a little underrated. If you look at their schedule, part of the reason I think they are underrated is because they have a pretty tough schedule. I mean, their defense, I think, probably is one of, if not the best in the conference. And you're talking about John Mateer coming back, who was widely regarded as one of the top quarterbacks before the injury. They got Satanga, who is a really good wide receiver. Running game was bad last year. Offensive line wasn't great. They kind of were a little similar to Alabama in a number of ways. Defense kind of leading the charge. Offense had similar struggles. I expect them to be better, but the schedule is tough. But what I'm saying is A&M, I mean, I'm not saying none of those teams could win a national championship, but I don't know.
I feel like, to me, there's a very clear gap between teams that can compete for a national championship and teams that we view as playoff contenders, right? And it's about, like, if you look at like any preseason rankings here at this point, it's about 7 or 8, number 7 or 8 on most people's lists. And that's where like Miami, Indiana are kind of starting to hover around in that 7 to 8 range. Now, from 8 to 20, yeah, those are all teams that realistically probably do have playoff aspirations, playoff goals, and they expect to make the college football playoff. But like your top 8 in any order is probably like Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, Oregon, Notre Dame, Miami, Indiana. Well, there's 7 right there. And it feels to me like there's a very large gap in terms of those teams. And then the Ole Misses, the Oklahomas, the Alabamas, where they've got the talent, but there's just so many questions around certain areas on that roster.
Yeah, no, I agree. We'll talk a little bit about some of these top teams when we come back, because there are a few teams that I feel like people are really buying some serious stock in. Like you mentioned, then you just have a number of teams that really, like, if they get hot, right, especially at the right time, I definitely could see them making a run down the stretch.
If OU figures out how to run the football, let's just say I'm glad Bama's not on that schedule this year.
No, dude, I'm telling you, they're one team that people aren't talking a whole bunch about that I think if they can get past that schedule, like you said, fix some of those issues from last year, they've got a squad. They definitely do. And that's the SEC. That's the team we didn't mention when we were talking about some of those other, like, I feel like half the league right now in the SEC, there's that gap, like you mentioned, from Georgia to Texas to below. There's a little bit of a gap there. But then the next 4 or 5 teams following, I feel like they give you reasons why they could also be a contender when it really comes down to it down the stretch. All right, we got to hit a timeout. We come back. We keep on rolling. We keep on talking some football on this Free-for-All Friday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 12.
Metamucil. One simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to Metamucil.com for more details.
Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393-91.
Bracelets, earrings, and precious gemstones for all occasions.
In the Tuscaloosa Galleria between Edgar's and Joey's and FincherandOsment.com.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Friday edition of The Game, we'll do a Free-for-All Friday sponsored by Brian Harden Construction. We're going to catch up with Brent Beard. We're going to talk a lot of SEC fall camp start dates. We'll do that starting at 2 p.m. on The Game on Tide 100.9, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest-running sports talk show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from
.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Tide 100. 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Going to be looking at maybe some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, mostly sunny skies, low 90s, heat index around 105. Tonight, scattered showers and storms. Overnight, low falls back to 73 degrees. Saturday, those showers become likely as we hit the afternoon, and we are going to be looking at the rumbles of thunder, partly sunny, back up towards 90 for the high. Saturday night, we will see those showers and thunderstorms, and then back to mostly sunny skies Sunday. This is Jeff Eno from the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 93 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Where the season never ends. This is your home of Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Looks like we got some Penn State folks in the chat. They say, show Kurt some respect. Don't make me call Kurt Cignetti again for that 38-3. I don't get why the SEC makes excuses for programs like Auburn and Tennessee.
See, well, this is what I don't get. SEC fans, right? Like, I'm an SEC reporter, so I like the SEC. But if you're a tried and true fan of your team, if you're an Alabama fan, you ain't making excuses for Tennessee and Auburn. You don't want Tennessee and Auburn to be good. You want them to suck as much as possible. Whereas Big Ten fans, it seems like, from the perception, it seems like Big Ten fans are willing to carry water for everybody in that conference. I've had Purdue fans jump in my mentions defending Indiana, and that's your end of season rival. Why are you carrying water for them? You're supposed to want them to suck.
Now, I'll be honest. I get what you're saying because of the rivalry. I always say this on the show. I've never had a big thing where it's like I don't really mind as much about the whole Auburn deal or even Tennessee. Of course, when we're playing them, it's the big thing. Me personally, I know our fans would probably agree with what you're saying. Why? I don't really have this, I don't know, eternal hate for these.
From a fan's perspective. I get what
you're saying. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I don't like if they do well and we beat them, that's all I care about. And I'll be honest, I'm actually probably a little bit of the opposite. I actually want them to be a little bit better because I want, when we do beat them, for it to mean something. If we just are beating up on an Auburn or Tennessee team that's just complete trash, which there's been years where they were bad football teams, I feel like those games aren't nearly as fun. To me, I think the Iron Bowl is always fun when there's something on the line. When it's whichever team wins this game is going on to do something, make the playoffs, BCS. I always thought those were the best games. Of course, we had some moments where they got the better end of us, and that really stings when it really was a determining game. So I get that. But then again, that's just me, though. And but like you said, I think majority of the fan base probably thinks the way you're thinking. That y'all want them to be below the dirt. I mean, y'all just.
I said all this as I'm wearing a Georgia hoodie today, but.
What in the world? I didn't even notice that. Wait, why are you wearing a Georgia hoodie?
I'm an SEC reporter, and I buy hoodies every time I go to these teams.
Wait, but you just were talking about it was only because Auburn and Tennessee are the true rivals.
Right, it's Auburn and Tennessee. Okay. Yeah. No, but I'm an SEC reporter, and I go cover, across the conference, and I enjoy apparel from these teams. And look, I ain't gonna lie, this Georgia hoodie's nice.
No, it is. Wait. So you clearly cover Auburn and Tennessee. We play them annually.
Yes.
Do you get gear when you go to those schools? Because I know you're collecting some gear now. Don't lie.
There's a Tennessee hoodie that sits in the back of my closet and collecting dust.
Okay.
I've worn it once. That orange is not very favorable to my figure. So that it sits. The dark colors do really well for me. So.
See, I was like, I wouldn't be shocked if you got a little Rocky Top souvenir. Listen, at the end of the
dark
day,
colors work well for the big fellas. So that's why, the LSU purple, the Georgia black, Alabama's the dark red, Oklahoma's dark red. I mean, it works for me.
Right.
That bright orange of Tennessee, nah, I don't look good wearing that.
I don't like orange in general, to be honest with you. You know what's funny? I have more beef with, and this is probably just showing that I'm not really I'm a newer Alabama because I got here in 2014. Before, I watched Alabama, but I wasn't like a big fan, right? Growing up in South Carolina until probably 2012 when they were recruiting me. I have more beef with Clemson, if I'm being honest with you. And that's probably a personal thing because I lost to them twice in the national championship. Like, I'm cool with like Auburn and Tennessee. Like, I don't like them necessarily, right? Like, there's the rivalry, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like they're like one of my favorite. They're ops, but they're kind of like, all right, the ops that you're like, man, like I don't like this dude, but there's a little bit of respect there. Like, it is what it is. Clemson is like, nah, I don't like you. Like, I really like. And it's probably because of the personal experience of losing the national championship game. But not just that, but even like the corny stuff, like seeing them like have the tombstones like for the teams that they beat. Like it just little corny stuff. And then like back home in South Carolina, like they're one of those fan bases that they don't know how to act. And I get them being excited. You beat Alabama, twice to win national championships. Like, of course they're going to be fired up, right? Everybody's going to have excitement through the roof, but
all right,
I don't know.
Let's say
That's
Clemson
different.
sucks and does move on from Dabo. You giving him an offensive analyst gig if it's up to you?
Oh yeah, I could probably give him a gig. He's got Alabama ties. There's that, and I don't have necessarily beef with him. It's just like when I think of Clemson, like the program. Like, it's just as a whole. And they were my first offer. They were my first scholarship offer, like, ever when I was getting recruited. So, I have a slight amount of respect remaining for them. But there's not much left. And it's really only because they gave me my first scholarship offer. So, thank you, Coach Sweeney. And what was his name? The wide receiver coach. God, I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, thanks for the offer. But I do not like you guys. Can't stand you, really, because you took 2 national championships from it, man. All right, we got to hit timeout. We come back. We keep on rolling right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Monty Bolaños.
The Red Sox completed the comeback.
All right, here's Contreras. Would you be surprised at all if they went back-to-back?
Nope.
Pitch is swung on and driven high and deep into left field. It is gone! Back-to-back, Abreu and Contreras.
You heard it all on the Red Sox radio network. They came back to defeat the A's 5-4, while the Braves held on 5-4 against the Nationals. Without Shohei Ohtani, the Dodgers outscored the Mariners 6-2. The Twins are acquiring left-handed reliever A.J. Minter from the Mets in exchange for 2 prospects. The MLB trade deadline is Monday, August 3rd at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And in the NFL, free agent wide receiver Deebo Samuel is signing a 1-year deal with the 49ers, the team that drafted him in 2019, and it's worth $7 million.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation across the United States and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers trying to make a name for themselves. We're here for the achievers
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors who are shaping the next generation of legends. We are here for you, aggressively pursuing victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Friday edition of The Game, we'll do a free-for-all Friday sponsored by Brian Harden Construction. We're going to catch up with Brent Beard. We're going to talk a lot of SEC fall camp start dates. We'll do that starting at 2 p.m. on The Game on Tide 100.9, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest-running sports talk show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. And streaming worldwide on the free free Tide app.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with 4-time SEC champion and 2-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking him down.
Here's college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
Into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. We've been discussing some of these topics coming out of Big Ten Media Days, some shots being taken, aimed at the SEC. Kurt Signetti definitely creating some headlines with some of the stuff that he had to say, and basically disrespecting the SEC. I call it a little disrespect, at least. Maybe some people feel like it's quote-unquote facts. I feel like it's a little disrespect is what it is. Definitely a great talking point on this free-for-all Friday. We got Wyatt behind the glass. Wyatt, there's been a lot of talk with, training camp right around the corner. We're less than a week away. Matter of fact, I believe next weekend Alabama has a media day where they'll have players and stuff. They texted me yesterday and mentioned it, so that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to all this stuff. But I've been asking everybody this question, Wyatt. We're going to transition back into some Alabama football here. What are you most looking forward to from training camp, right? I mean, of course, there's the quarterback battle, a lot of new faces, right? The running back room, some of those young guys. We haven't seen much of Crowell out, majority of the spring with injury. Sounds like he's a lot healthier now. A lot of depth on the defensive line. Who's going to emerge there as being like the guys, right? I mean, there's only so many guys. I mean, you can rotate 8 guys, but you get the point. Like, who are going to be those go-to guys, right, that we know you need to play? Who's going to step up and be those players? Linebacker room, still curious to see how that takes shape. But for you, Wyatt, if you had to pick one thing maybe outside of the quarterback battle that you're most looking forward to with training camp next week, what would that one thing be?
I'm going to cop out, and I'm going to give 2 answers here. Number one is the offensive line. It seems like they're going all in on quote-unquote physicality with the offensive line, and it was kind of determined by kicking Michael Carroll into right guard rather than keeping him out at tackle. They're all in on that offensive line. They understand that this has got to be a better unit than it was last season. You can't go and average 104 yards per game again. If you do, a lot of people are going to be having some really uncomfortable conversations in Tuscaloosa. The second answer is, who is the Robin to Yanze Pierre's Batman? We know he's going to be phenomenal. We're expecting 10-plus sacks out of Yanze Pierre this season. But teams that compete at a very high level, teams that can compete for an SEC championship, for a national championship, they've got the trench play on both sides, right? Indiana had a ton of guys that were older veterans, yes, in college football, but they were able to get pressure in a lot of different ways. Miami had the 2 best edge rushers in the sport with Akeem Mesidor and Ruben Bain last season. Georgia had some very good edge rushers. Ole Miss had Prince Will Umanmielen, who was a phenomenal edge rusher last season. So who is that other guy that can step up alongside Yanze Pierre? Because if it's only Yanze Pierre, all right, we're going to chip him with the tight end, and we're going to put our best offensive tackle on him and negate him, and now Alabama can't get pressure unless they bring extra heat. So is there somebody else that's going to step up? Is it Devon Tompkins, the USC transfer? Is it pressure up the middle with a guy like London Simmons or Jeremiah Beeman? Or is it, hey, you're going to play more of those like what Saban did, where you had the 2 down linemen and the 2 the 2 edge rushers out there? I think, what were they called? The Jack and the...
Oh, so you're talking about like Rabbit's package?
Yeah, something a little similar to that in pass rush situations.
Yeah, which you'll definitely see on in third down situations, but
who's that other guy? Is it Justin Hill,
who
looked really good in spurts last season? Is it the 5-star freshman Xavier Griffin, who I think has got a bright future ahead of him? So just who? Yanze Pierre is Batman. Who's Robin? That's what I'm ready to figure out.
It's a good question, and they need to find that answer. I know Kane Womack has talked about that extensively. We've talked about it extensively on the show. You got to find a way to generate more pressure on the quarterback. Here's one thing that people haven't mentioned, but I'll tell you can definitely be a factor from my experience being an edge rusher. Coverage and pass rush go hand in hand. Me and my dad say that all the time. We got a really good secondary.
There's
a good chance that they can really help out this pass rush as well, right? If you're having guys back there that can cover and they're locking things up and they're giving you a little bit extra time, like these pass rushers should be in a good position, knowing that they have the help behind them, right? Because again, it goes both ways, right? When you have good pass rush, the secondary guys really benefit from that. So if our secondary is as good as we expect them to be, I would imagine naturally the pass rush should benefit from that. That said, you still need somebody to step up, and that is a big question. If I had to guess why, I'll be honest with you, it's hard to say, because I feel like Justin Hill has the tools to step up and be that guy. And I wouldn't be shocked if it ends up being him a little bit more, at least like he's the first one. You're going to see multiple guys. Let's be clear about that, right? They didn't bring, Desmond, let's call him Zulu. They didn't bring him in here just to sit around, right? And he's got some rush ability. I know people are really excited about him. And again, I don't mean to sound like I'm downplaying him, but when you have a guy that's got 1.5 career sacks, right? Like, and just watching his tape, like, I think it's important to have probably realistic expectations, right? The good news is the other guy on the other side, and Yanze, had like 8 sacks, and he really had the bulk of his snaps come after like the first few weeks after Quay Russo had gone down. So he's going to be getting home. I think you'll probably see multiple guys in there. He'll probably be the guy that's pretty standard for the most part. Then you'll probably see Justin Hill. You'll probably see Zulu. And then, like you mentioned, Xavier Griffin. This is, if I was Kane Womack, Wyatt, this is what I would do. I would, of course, I would have multiple packages. We all know that. But in those rabbit situations, I would go Yanze Pierre. I would go for the interior. I would go London Simmons and Devin Tompkins. And then on that other side, I probably would roll with Justin Hill. Personally, I know he's known as a run defender, a physical edge setter, but the dude is a good athlete. He's a physical guy. I think he's a more speed to power type rusher. Yanze has a little bit more of that elusiveness. Excuse me, if I can get the words out anyway. I think they would probably complement each other pretty well. And don't get me wrong, Justin Hill is a good athlete. I think he could develop even more as he gets more experience and more reps in, true pass rush situations. I don't think he got a whole bunch of those last year. They really threw him in there on early downs, which made sense, right? Because he, was really good at setting the edge. That said, I would also consider doing this, and we got Smitty on the phone lines we need to get to when we come back. We're going to take a quick time out in a couple minutes, but I would consider a package where I would have 3 athletes on the field, right? And this would be like my go-get-it package.
This is like 3rd and 20, cheetah package.
Cheetah package. One point they called it Raptors package. In the NFL with the Panthers, we called it NASCAR. That's what we called it. And we had Bruce Irvin, Brian Burns, and Mario Addison. We had 3 edge guys. Yeah, I see you shaking your head. Yeah, we had some dudes. Yeah, then when they get a little tired, they throw me in there a little bit every now and then. But we had those 3 dudes. And then we had a Pro Bowler in KK Short. And so we'd have one big defensive tackle, then we'd have speed. We'd have 3 edge rushers on the field. And what I think would be, with a hell of a package, depending on if these guys are comfortable doing it. You really only need one guy that's comfortable doing what I'm about to say. But then you have that hover guy who's replacing the defensive tackle, right? Meaning, I would go with Xavier Griffin as that guy because he's going to be lined up. He's going to be mugging a guard pretty much. And it's going to change up. Like if you load the front, that means you'll have 3 guys to one side. It can be in different spots, but most of the time they're in like a 3 technique spot. But it's not like they have to be some big physical guy and they're rushing that guard like a tackle would. You're calling games with it. So basically you can run a text, but you're running it with that guy and he's standing up, right? Which a text would be, or a pop. It's an ET stunt, right? Or TE, those same text, pop, they're just jam. They're all the same thing, right? TE, that tackle, is going to set a pick on the offensive tackle and the defensive end is going to wrap. And ET, the end, is setting the pick and the defensive tackle wraps. Now you're just changing out a defensive tackle with a speed guy, right? And then on the other side, you can just mix it up as well. But to me, I would try to experiment with that, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to get your best rushers on the field. And then the beauty is Devin Tompkins is like 300 pounds. So he would be that KK Short, who for us, the tackle that was KK Short, he's played in those, so he can line up on that. That's no problem. He's going to be just fine rushing from there. And so now you're slicing and dicing. You can run simulators from it. You can drop guys. You see what I'm saying? So when you do run simulators and dudes do drop out, you don't have a defensive tackle necessarily doing that. Now you got 3 edge guys on the line. And then even Devin Tompkins, who's almost considered a borderline edge guy when he's playing bandit. I know I said a million things. Maybe that might be I wish I could draw it up on a whiteboard and make more sense. Regardless, just think Raptors or cheetah package like we used to have, but insert Xavier Griffin as the mug guy who's going to be in that like B gap. Or you could, maybe he's more comfortable rushing off the edge and you put Jans as a stand-up guy. It really doesn't matter. Whoever's more comfortable doing what, but normally the stand-up guy, like for us, it was more, you want the guys that are true like edge guys, they stay on the edges, and then somebody that's comfortable standing up and doing other stuff, they're going to be more that mug guy. Like I was always a mug guy because I had experience dropping. I could drop out. I could set picks. I did that already anyways when we did other packages.
Seems like they did that a lot last year with Quay Russaw, because I know there was a lot of people that said he may be better working inside.
You mean when they do like on early downs when he's mugging? Is that what you're talking about? Or you're saying on third down?
No, on early downs where he's the one that's kind of where he was the one that was mugging.
Like the wolf?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it really, I think all those guys would probably be comfortable, but I just think, like Xavier Griffin, Janzi, I feel like they probably definitely be. Justin Hill, he does the same thing too, like you said in those packages. You can mix it all up, but at the end of the day, that's what we would do. So like Tim didn't like to drop as much. He could do it, but Tim's best ability was screaming off the edge. So we would always have Tim in that role. Tim would always be off the edge. But me, Rashawn Evans, guys that were more comfortable standing up and doing stuff, we would be more of those stand-up guys. I think Xavier Griffin's got that ability. Janze does as well. And then you still got Zulu, right? So you could throw him, in there at times. But those would be my 3. I would work some type of package with Griffin, Janze, and Hill, and then that 4th would be Devin Tompkins. Now, I know the question is, what happens if they run a draw? Again, you deploy this package when it's like an obvious passing down. Could they run it? Could they run a draw? Right? They see you in Raptors or see you in Cheetah, whatever you want to call it, and run a draw. Absolutely. That's part of it.
3rd and 20, like that's when you deploy this.
No, I'll be honest. I would do it 3rd and 10. If they're
okay.
If it's, we always said 3rd and 7 plus. That's we're talking like that's
go get.
We're going to get it. We're going to get it. We just would know, like, pay attention to tendencies, right? So like if I see the backs on one side or whatever, and I'm on the other, of course we're running our pass rush stuff, but like just keep a reminder, like read your keys, right? Like of course we're in our jet mode. We're like best get off. We're trying to get after it. But as soon as you realize, hey, this tackle is not a pass set, or he just took one, one kick step, and then he just converted now, and they're running the like. Just got to redirect. Just got to be ready for it. But yeah, it's one of the risks you run. But if you're trying to get more pressure on the quarterback, I guarantee you this will work. We'll talk more about this and plenty of other stuff. Plus, we'll go to the phone lines when we come back right here on this Free for All Friday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393-9.
We want to make sure that we give that to them each and every time they come and visit us.
The sense of pride that we have in the quality and the consistency of our food carries over to everything we do in the stores. That's Taco God.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation across the United States and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers trying to make a name for themselves. We are here for the achievers
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors who are
us an instant gift. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamparello Law, Education and Advocacy, founded by attorney and professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases, known for real care and relentless advocacy.
Or call 800-544-7357. 800-544-7357. That's 800-544-7357.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Going to be looking at maybe some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, mostly sunny skies, low 90s, heat index around 105. Tonight, scattered showers and storms. Overnight, low falls back to 73 degrees. Saturday, those showers become likely as we hit the afternoon, and we are going to be looking at the rumbles of thunder, partly sunny, back up towards 90 for the high. Saturday night, we will see those showers and thunderstorms, and then back to mostly sunny skies Sunday. This is Jeff Eno from the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 93 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Your home for Alabama Crimson Tide football. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Into this Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right, let's go to the phone lines, 205-342-9904, and I'll get back to some of these questions we got here in the chat. Smitty, I apologize, man. I appreciate you being patient, man. Welcome in.
No, you're good, man. I had to take a work call anyway. How's everything going with you guys?
Man, it's great, man. Can't complain, man. Another day, another dollar. How's everything?
Good, man. I see Chase left halfway through. He's on that Roman Reigns schedule, man. I need his agent, man.
That's funny, man. Yeah, he is on a Roman. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, we love Chase, man. But one thing is about this SIG stuff, right? When people try to anoint someone the next Saban, this is why we will never see another Saban. And it's not even about the way the game is played now with the rules. This man lost his coordinator just about every year. And you know this because with not just the coordinator leaving, the coordinator takes other assistants on the staff. And so he had to replace all of that. He also won with multiple quarterbacks. Many of them weren't necessarily like to lead the NFL up. That right there separates all that. And that's why I'd be wary of when trying to compare someone to what Coach Saban did. And we got to be honest about that, because we saw, like, Cignetti, he had his quarterback now. What happens once those assistants get head coaching jobs? Or the quarterback is not as good as Mendoza? Or it's a different breed of cat he's bringing in that didn't come for him for James Madison, who are hungry, who are eating hamburgers and hot dogs on white bread instead of those brioche buns. You know, stuff like that, you know. You get what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Yeah. But because talking like that is great, but when you're winning. Because the thing is, now they're becoming a target. But the funniest part about all this is, Miami probably just sitting there happy, like, man, folks forgot we lost the national championship game. They keep talking about Alabama. Oregon, the same way. No one talks about them. They talk about Alabama. And I wish Alabama would stop whining about it online as well, because it's giving these people fuel to say they broke Alabama. Oh, Alabama's nothing. Hey, you lost the game. It's been like in January. Yeah, we got whooped. It happens. Brush it off. And I'm going to inform you fans out there. The staff and the players are also mad and embarrassed by what happened. They just not going to say it because, like Coach Saban always say, 24-hour rule, you move on to the next one, because you can't let that hang over your head for all those months. Got to move on, find out what you did wrong, and do better and fix it.
I agree. Tell me what you think. So when you compare the SEC to the Big Ten, I mean, because he flat out said the Big Ten is the best. They're playing a physical schedule. It's earned, not given. I mean, so you're calling cap on that?
I'll tell you what the problem is. One, last year, the Big Ten, they did a terrible job in scheduling games. They had a big game problem. And you look at their week one schedule, they have a week one problem. Now, Michigan and Ohio State do play big games. They're just not on week one. I think the physical thing is, I don't think every Big Ten program is crazy committed. Because if that was the case, Purdue will be getting guys with NIL or Rutgers. They be getting guys. I think, I've got a hot take. I think conference expansion actually helped Ohio State because they brought in a couple of teams that can match them. I think the SEC, the difference still is they got dudes who could test the top teams physically. They may not be good, but they can test you physically. Because, you remember this? I think you played against Chris Jones. Those guys were on Mississippi State, and Mississippi State stuck. You know, Kentucky had guys, and they stuck on the line. But I think what helped the Big Ten, Christian, it's not NIL. It's the portal where you can have immediate eligibility. And like the Kai Hill Green last, he played for like 4 schools. He wouldn't be able to play for 4 schools if he had to sit. And no one was going to give him a good check if he had to sit for a year. I think the portal kind of evens things out. But also, you don't have as many teams like they can physically test you. But at the same time, I believe the Big Ten thinks more outside the box when it comes like getting ahead of the SEC jersey sponsorship, a better TV deal. They have a better set of coaches, not just head coaches, but assistants as well. And I think that is something the SEC got to catch up to. Not worrying about, I'm not even talking about Coach DeBoer here. Because I remember Urban Meyer and Nick Saban took their first SEC jobs. And SEC fan, like, we're going to teach them SEC football, and they're the 2 best coaches of the generation. And Hugh Freeze from the South, and he was incompetent. You got to think outside the box when it comes to generating money. You got to break away from these traditions, but also sometimes hire the best coach possible. Because you can learn culture. You just got to be open to learning it. And I think that stuff that the Big Ten has done better, because I actually watched some of their games.
No, I mean, I do think they have really good coaching there, and I think they're improving. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I don't know. I'm just ready for talking season to be done.
Me too.
So you got Texas and Ohio State. That's an early SEC Big Ten matchup. Are there any other ones, Wyatt or Smitty, you guys know of?
Oklahoma goes to Michigan. Oklahoma goes to the Big House and return trip.
Okay.
And that's going to be a tough one. Kyle Whittingham is a sneaky great coach a lot of fans may not know about. He took over Utah after Urban Meyer left. And he had that. He has that team consistently winning. But can I bring up something you guys talked about yesterday?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like your dad was talking about not knowing who the quarterback is. I disagree with that. Like the whole thing about, hey, not knowing the quarterback is a portal quarterback. Unless the guy stinks, He's not coming to sit to compete, coming in to start. But also, I got a comp for you guys. Last year, a team started a red shirt freshman quarterback. No significant snaps. It was clunky at first. They finished 10-2. Their coach hairline go melt in the summertime, and now they're a title contender. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And that is Notre Dame and C.J. Carr. You got to, sometimes, the only way you get experience is by playing. And if you don't think this guy's capable, why is he on your team? I just think sometimes you can't be scared of mistakes because you learn from mistakes. And I just think that I'd rather take my lumps early and let that guy improve. Because I think there's a notion in college football that kids can't improve. And you saw that with C.J. Carr last year. He had to go on the road to Miami first game. But he improved. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the country right now. But Notre Dame took their lumps because you know what Notre Dame got tired of? Paying transfer quarterbacks big money. So they did that, and now everybody's upbeat because they were willing to take that lump that comes with a young QB. I think Alabama should do the same thing also because those two quarterbacks Notre Dame took to the portal, they were one-year rentals. And you see the price going up. But now they have that young guy who developed and he took their lumps. And I agree with the coaching staff for doing that because I'm paying you a couple $1 million. I want you to play. I'm not waiting for you to sit here and sit because Bryce Young didn't have significant snaps. Look at him. Tua doing a lot of mop-up duty, but they threw him in the national championship game. Sometimes you just got to get out there and play, and Tua took his lumps. But you got to get out there sometimes. I just think people are so scared of youth. When we saw Drew Aller and Clay Cleveland play for 4 years, and they stunk the whole time. But they had experience, being terrible. You get what I'm saying here?
I do. I think what happens sometimes with my dad when it comes to these conversations is, he played a decade in the league nearly, right? So, in the NFL, you see that all the time. If you hardly see them go into an NFL season with several young, rookie or second-year quarterbacks on their roster. They always do what? They bring in a veteran for the room. They bring in a veteran who can, lead the team at least until that young guy is ready. So his mindset comes from that, which, again, he's an NFL guy. He loves college football, don't get me wrong. But I think when you play a decade in the league, he's so accustomed to that. College football, you've seen some of that over the years, at least when the system was different, but like you mentioned with NIL, it's a different space now. You're not really going to find – the NFL has guys that are just wanting to get on a team, wanting to get on a club, vets that are they just want to be signed. College football, you don't really have a bunch of veteran quarterbacks with starting experience who are just sitting there or that are looking to say, hey, we only have a year or two left of eligibility. I'm going to go take a gig where I know I'm going to be the third string guy behind these two young guys competing and just a security option. That's just not very realistic. So I will point that out. I will say that I also understand that if you do look at it, historically speaking, the teams that have won championships, they don't typically have youth at the quarterback position. They have some youth on their teams, I'm sure, but experience does play a big factor. But like you said, they got to get it somehow, one way or another, right? And there's no need to try to postpone that if you believe in their ability. So yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I know you got to run, but thanks for taking my call. And I'll say it to Bama fans out there. When Christian or anyone else wants to break down the team to our position groups, we don't need to hear, well, to run it, you got to run the ball or the offensive line ain't good enough. Everybody knows that, everybody. We know. We all know that. Captain Obvious. It's okay to talk about something else on the team. Hey, you have a great weekend.
Appreciate you, Smitty. You do the same, brother. Good stuff, man. We got to hit a timeout. We come back. We keep on rolling on this Free-for-All Friday. This is Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation across the United States and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers, trying to make a name for themselves. We're here for the achievers,
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors who are shaping the next
$500 in cash. This July, let freedom and fortune ring at Pearl River Resorts. Must be 21 or older to play.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamparello Law, Education, and Advocacy. Founded by attorney and Professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases. Known for real care and relentless advocacy. For guidance you can trust, call 201-317-5115 or visit lamparello-law.com. That's Lamparello Law, Education, and Advocacy. Proud partner.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Friday edition of The Game, we'll do a free-for-all Friday sponsored by Brian Harden Construction. We're going to catch up with Brent Beard. We're going to talk a lot of SEC fall camp start dates. We'll do that starting at 2 p.m. on The Game on Tide 100.9, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest-running sports talk show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. And streaming worldwide on the free Tide app.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
For more from Tide 100.9,
Let's it fly, and there's it. Whoa!
Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and SoundCloud.
Free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Just found a perfect clip. That wasn't even the clip that I was initially going for. And it actually was a better clip because the other one was a blitz we were running, and it was had like backers mugged up as well, or some of our inside backers. A little bit different. All right. Anyways, continuing on, we've talked enough about Curt Cignetti in the Big Ten. Now we're talking Alabama football gearing up for training camp. We talked about some of the things we're most looking forward to. Why I mentioned pass rush, that's why we've been talking about that. Maybe implementing a new, or I guess bringing back some of those cheetah packages, Raptors packages. You really got to have three edge guys that can really get after the quarterback. The fact that we're trying to decide if we even have a counterpart to Yanze, maybe we're kind of jumping a little bit too far ahead early right there. If we're still trying to figure out the other side, I don't know if we don't have two confident ones right now. Why? We probably shouldn't be talking about three. So we probably should take it one step at a time, but maybe that's something we could get to. If you do feel like a guy like Xavier Griffin really is coming along, and Justin Hill or Zulu, those guys are giving you a lot on rush situations. Why? You mentioned the offensive line. Of course, everybody's going to be watching that. I saw Andrew Bowen put out an article on Alabama. He had mentioned Nick Brooks still very much competing for that right tackle spot. Where are you at with that one, with that battle right there? Because really, I feel like when we talk about offensive line, there's really two things to really look for: how they all come together, but two, left guard and right tackle. I feel like left tackle, center, and then Michael Carroll at right guard right now. I feel like those, the way they've spoken coming out of the spring, I feel like those guys are pretty solid there. I guess If you can't figure out an answer at right tackle, maybe you consider kicking Michael Carroll back out. But how confident are you in that battle? I mean, Nick Brooks, did you get a chance to pay close attention to him during the spring? I know we broke down his tape coming from Texas. He's a big dude, but he was playing guard at Texas. When we broke down his tape, he's a guard.
I think he started, if I remember correctly from my article, I think he started 3 games and appeared in 6 at Texas, but he started at both guard spots and tackle for Texas.
Oh, so he did play some tackle.
I think it was like one. I think it was the Kentucky game, if I'm not mistaken. He played tackle against Kentucky for Texas last season. But I mean, it seems like it's Javen James because ever since Michael Carroll kicked into right guard, the only thing we've ever heard is, "Hey, Javen James is getting the reps at first team right tackle. It's Javen James. It's Javen James. It's Javen James." And so, while I have no doubt that they're still competing, I mean, none of these spots are locked up. Hell, Michael Carroll's probably got a guy pushing him at right guard. But we know Michael Carroll's good enough that we can go ahead and pencil in that starting job there. I do find it interesting, though, that SEC preseason ballot that I got to vote on in Tampa last week for media days. It's not just – there's a little bit of a nugget. It's not just an open ballot. Like, I couldn't go just find every offensive tackle in the SEC. The teams submit names. They submit guys that they think are worthy of being on that list. Javen James was on that list. Michael Carroll was on that list. Jackson Lloyd was on that list. William Sanders was on that list. No other offensive linemen from Alabama were. So I don't know how that worked exactly, but if teams do submit players like I've been told they do, it seems like Alabama's kind of leaning on the idea that, all right, William Sanders probably is going to be that starting left guard, and Javen James is probably going to be that starting right tackle. Even though they've still got fall camp coming up, they submitted these names because I noticed this too when we were picking all SEC quarterbacks. Keelan Russell and Austin Mack weren't on that list
at all.
Alabama did not submit either one of them, which tells me that that's more of an open competition.
Okay, I'm glad you gave us that information because that leads me to a couple questions. Number one, is there a limit on the number? If you can only submit one quarterback, since you only play one quarterback unless you have some 2-quarterback system, which is very rare. Maybe that was part of it. Maybe they didn't want to pick one to submit because I would imagine if they could submit 2, why would you not? Because one of those guys is going to start unless it's some crazy situation like we had in 2016 where true freshman Jalen Hurts ended up winning the job and nobody talked about it, which I don't see Jet Tamala or Coward just randomly being the guy. But again, I guess never say never.
My all-time favorite moment is that I pegged Jalen Hurts as the starter when I heard that he was emulating Deshaun Watson in practice. That January, that's my proudest moment. I had Jalen Hurts pegged from January.
All right, so either you were just lucky on that one.
Probably just got lucky.
And I honestly give you a hard time. But to be fair, he was cooking in practice. I mean, he was cooking in practice, but just because some guy's cooking in practice in terms of like, man.
How many times have we had a scout team warrior out there?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I still don't think anybody. So good call on your part because I still don't think anybody was like, man, he's very impressive. He's probably going to start for Nick Saban as a true freshman. No one thought that. But so kudos to you on that one. That was my first question. What you said. Number 2, I heard they had Will Sanders on the ballot. I didn't know they had Javen James on there. But I almost wonder with those. Initially, I was going off of that means they think very highly of these guys, and maybe there's a clear indication right there in front of us that they're leading already. However, when you said Javen James was on that list, but they didn't include Rayson Delgado at center, one thing all those guys did have in common is that they all played within the conference last year, meaning Javen James started over at Mississippi State a number of games. Will Sanders, I don't know if he got credit for any starts, but he played. He played, a number of snaps, significant snaps, more or less, throughout the season. Jackson Lloyd was on the team. I mean, he played very, very little snaps, but you get what I'm saying? So maybe
when Proctor was moonlighting as a running back, Jackson Lloyd was the left tackle.
Are we going to see that package again? That's my question about the offensive line.
Xavier got asked this question at media days. Now that Proctor's gone, who's going to be the one catching passes? And he threw out Michael Carroll's name.
Well, Michael Carroll's got the athleticism to do it. I think we probably should. I think we should return that package to the shelf. It was fun while it lasted. It was honest. I'll be honest. It was fun the first time. I kind of got tired of it after that because I'm like, yo, we can't run just down people's throats on 4th and 1. We're throwing the football to a 6'7", 365-pound tackle. Like it's almost like a mockery.
Yeah, after he got
put him
stuffed
at fullback.
After he got stuffed at the goal line at Missouri, I was like, yeah, we cut it right here.
Well, in that one, they had him run Wildcat. See, like I'm not gonna lie to you, that's kind of ticking me off, man. If we were running the ball down people's throats or whatever, then you throw something like that in there, just a little wrinkle. But it's like, all right, man, that almost makes it look worse. That we were so bad at running the football and had that little confidence that we could just line up and get it. We had to literally draw up these what is that? They move like the Little Titans or type plays, some like sandbox movie plays or something, like kids in a playground type plays with our biggest offensive linemen to try to deceive defenses. I was going to say, man, if you want to put him at fullback as a lead blocker, I'm
now
cool with that.
That could be nasty.
Hell yeah. I'm telling you right now, if I'm playing linebacker and I got to beat him in the hole, man, heck no. No, I mean, that's what I mean, like maybe something like that because that's physicality. But like I just remembered that, man. We ran Wildcat with Caden Proctor in an actual game. Wow. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious about the offensive line, but yeah, it is interesting that Racing Delgado wasn't on that ballot, but maybe because it's a preseason list and he wasn't in the conference. Maybe, I don't know if you saw were there any other names from other teams, from guys that transferred that?
If I remember correctly, there were a couple of guys like Rasheem Biles at Texas. He was on that list. Well, he played at Pitt last season.
Okay, so then that's not.
So there were a couple of guys that did transfer in outside of the conference that were on that list.
Why wouldn't they? I feel like they would have. I feel like they would have threw Racing Delgado in there. No, I know a lot of people are like, why would you think that? He came from Cal Poly, but I'm saying the way they spoke about him during the spring, I view him as the third, somewhat penciled-in guy. Wouldn't you agree? Like, I feel like there's like three guys that you can probably pencil in at offensive line. Not necessarily they're like guaranteed, but I would say Jackson Lloyd, Ryan Grubb pretty much named him a starter after like 5 minutes of putting pads on. And then Michael Carroll, he's a returner. And then Will Sanders, I think, only reason I'm not penciling him just yet because, he's been out with injury. He didn't participate in the spring. But Racing Delgado, who else are you going to play at center? I mean, because the other guys, I don't think they're
Caden Strayhorn, I think he's a year away. Mal Waldrop seems to be more competing at left guard than center. Now he can snap, but he's more been competing at that left guard spot. So it really and truly does feel like Racing Delgado or bust right now.
That's kind of what I was thinking. That's why I was shocked when you said that he wasn't on there. I thought he would have at least been one of those names. So I don't know. Maybe we're reading too much into it. I guess this is what you do when you can't really go break stuff down. We got a few more days before we can actually.
For the love of God, please get us to Wednesday.
I know. Is it did you get the schedule as morning practice like usual?
I assume it's morning practice. We haven't gotten anything yet. I'm anticipating getting something, if not today, by Monday, because practice starts on Wednesday. But players report Tuesday, and then everything gets kicked off Wednesday. And like you said, Saturday's media day. So we'll have something by, I would assume, this time on Monday.
When do they get the pads on? That's what I want to know. When do the pads come on? Because I know you got the acclimation period. So I'll be honest, I might even just wait till the pads come on. I mean, of course, just seeing rotations and stuff is cool. I mean, but that's one I want to see. I want to see some pads hitting. I want to see some guys get. Can this offensive line get some push?
As a media member, I would love, they'll never do this. I would love if they'll employ what LSU does, where you've got the 15-minute period where the media can go view like we do here at Alabama. And then for the next 45 minutes, no phones, no reports, off the record, but we get to watch the practice.
Wait, they do that?
They do at LSU.
Huh.
Reporters can watch. They cannot report. They cannot record.
Wait, when you say they can't actively report, but could they, can they talk about what they saw later on?
Yes.
Once they leave? I mean,
I'd be all for that. Now, you got some goober heads in the media that may, say something they're not supposed to, but I won't. You don't.
I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like you give people an inch sometimes to take a mile. I feel like that will kind of quickly turn into that. If we're just
and that's exactly what
here.
I'm doing here. I got the inch of being able to see 15 minutes of practice, and now I want the mile of getting another 45.
No, I meant like in terms of if you give them, say, hey, no phones, don't do this. I mean, they obviously want to try to maintain some level of privacy. I could just totally see people, they would be, all right, they're going to have every little detail written down and then go report it when they leave. And it's almost like, you know what I mean? This guy took this rep, he was this for this. And they don't want all of that. You know, that's probably a little much. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. Probably not, but I don't know. Wishful thinking, I guess. All right, we got to hit a timeout. We come back. We wrap things up on this free-for-all Friday edition of the
$2,500 in cash. This July, let freedom and fortune ring at Pearl River Resorts. Must be 21 or older to play.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation across the United States and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers trying to make a name for themselves. We're here for the achievers
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors
who are shaping
his ears. Get a $1 small classic Frosty for a limited time, only at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. A la carte only, not valid for delivery. Limit 10 per transaction. Price may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel. A specialty manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rental. With a proven track record of over 30-plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Follow Tide 100.9 on Facebook today to watch our live shows, read the great articles, and interact with Bama fans today.
And welcome back in real quick on this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBCY. We had a chat. They said Ryan Grubb is safe. Womack will be a hot commodity. I think one of those two things is true. I think Womack, if he has another strong year defense, now they're not perfect, right? There's things they still need to get better at. They rank well when you look at the numbers, but they've got to be more consistent stopping the run. They got to get better pressure on the quarterback. I would love to see them add a little bit more complexity to the defense personally. That's just my opinion, right? You heard Roman and Coach Saban talking about playing more man coverage. Just mix it up a little bit more. But he's done a good job, right? And I think he'll get a lot of credit for that. A third year in a row, I think will go a long way when it comes to that process. I'm pretty sure he was offered some opportunities today, just weren't what he was necessarily looking for. Probably still kind of on the smaller side. So we'll have to see. But in terms of Grubb being safe, I don't think I would agree with that because I feel like he didn't get a contract extension. The offense really struggled. We're talking about an offense that's supposed to be known to put up a lot of points, be explosive. It just hadn't really been that. There's been glimpses of that. There's been flashes of that, but it has not consistently been that. And somebody's got to get the blame, right, Wyatt? I mean, Coach DeBoer is an offensive-minded guy. Best believe, and they just gave him a big contract extension, so they're not going to be quick to cut ties with him. But if that offense has similar struggles, I think we finally could see another change on that offensive side. What do you think about that?
Our friend Tia pointed this out. Alabama had a better offense under Nick Sheridan in 2024 than Ryan Grubb in 2025.
It did. And the Seahawks did go on to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they did.
And had a good running game. Not trying to throw shade or blame. I'm just those are just
I don't think he's safe by any stretch of the imagination. I think that this offense is going to have to take some big steps in the right direction for both him and Adrian Clem, because Clem only signed a 1-year contract. So this offense has got to take some massive steps in the right direction for those guys to be back in 2027, I would assume. Now, I could be dead wrong, and maybe it was just Ryan Grubb, wanted to go out and prove himself. Maybe they offered it, and Grubb said, no, I want to prove myself first, which I'm okay with him if he did that. If he said, nope, let me go out there and prove it first, okay, then, I'm cool with Ryan Grubb. But if they just flat out didn't offer it to him and said, hey, you're on a prove it deal right now, then I respect them for that, because this offense did have a lot of struggles last season. Now, I'm not saying they're going to run for 180 yards a game. I'd love if they did. I'll happily eat crow. I'm expecting more of the 120 to 125 yards per game. Good enough. Fair. Not what it was last year, but good enough. Because Kalen DeBoer's mentioned it. They want to be able to run the ball when they want to run the ball. Not because they have to. Not because the other team is dictating that. They want to be able to run when they want to run. Which also tells me that they may not want to run all the time. Because like you said, Michael Penix was a 4,000-yard passer. I got a feeling they're going to want to get back to that.
They do, and I'll just throw this in real quick as we wrap up. I think 120, 125 is fine if they also have a return to seeing more explosives, right? They have more success, right? Because that was one thing. We had
I think if you take out A.K. Deer's big run against ULM, the 75-yarder, I think Alabama's longest rush last season was 54 yards.
They didn't have many. They didn't have many through the air either, though. If we're being honest here, right? I mean, we did not have a great deep ball, right? Which is also an issue. So I think there's a lot of things we got to work on. That's what training camp's for, which is coming up next week. That'll do it for us in this Free for All Friday. Big shout out to everybody involved. Of course, Wild Behind the Glass, Chase earlier on, all of our listeners, Tide 100.9, the app, radio, our streams. We appreciate you guys. Big thanks to all of our sponsors as well. We appreciate you guys making all this happen. And we look forward to being back Monday right here, same time, same place on the Miller's Edge. You guys have a great weekend. We'll see you guys then.